Let me do it. Three. Test one, two, three. Hey, Richard, Las Vegas, huh? Daryl, all right, good, loud and clear. All right, folks. A little background here. I've been doing these on Labor Day for the last 22 years. 22 years, and the reason I did it, traditionally, I always thought that at end of summer, there was a change in the market, and I wanted to get an early start on that. Now, September 22nd is actually the future end of summer. Did y'all know that? September 22nd is the actual end of summer, even though I grew up, thinking that when Labor Day happened, it was the end of summer. But actual official day is September 22nd. Okay. Now, volume is going to increase. And, over the last month and a half, it's been a very, except for a very few days, frustrating type days because they'd have the opening, first hour, and then they'd have the closing, the last hour. And in between, it looked like just sideways and trying to take our money. That was in between. It's going to get easier, I think, for trends that are spotted to take advantage of. And I think you're going to find out that we're ready to go here for the last 4 months of the year. Now, I always like an early start in September. Now, how many people, let me ask this before I even get started, how many people have a futures account? A futures account. One of the things that I do at the start of September is I'll take a micro E-mini and add 1% and say that'd be my target to the upside. And I buy it at the opening, and the opening was 56.55. That's where it is. And then I will stop myself out 1% below. I like to do that in September. That trade, just give you a little background, that trade typically will be right about 8 out of 10 times, but it gives you a wake up call to the type month you're having. And basically just add 1%, subtract 1%. I think on a micro, it's about 283 bucks if you're wrong and 283 if you're right. But it's a great trade. I put it on Labor Day. I've got it on right now. We'll see how it works out. But anyway, very simple to do. If you got a Tasty Trade account, you just hit the bracket and set your brackets. So thought I'd share that with you. It's something that I used to share with people, and I thought, well, I'll share it with you today. So get us started there. And the thinking behind that is catching that early momentum and seeing where it takes us. But we put it together, and let's get started. Uh, and it's nice. Richard says, it's a great way to read this. His medallion, he's in the gold program, membership is paid off with his winning trades. Thank you, Richard, for saying that. Okay. Bruce, I placed that trade this morning. I put it on about 10 minutes ago. About 10 minutes ago. It's a fresh one, hot off the cooker. Great education. Great education. So happy Labor Day, 22nd meeting of DTI in the group. Thank you for coming. And let's get started. Now, there's always risk in trading. We'll talk about that. And past performance is not indicative of future results. Now, let's think about that. Do your due diligence, like the trade I just gave you, where I'm buying the mini, selling it at 1% higher, and stopping myself out 1% lower on a seasonal trend that I've noticed over the last 10 years. And I hope that sort of describes it. So there you go. Now, for those that don't know, I'm a former Air Force officer. I'm happy about being an Air Force officer because in the Air Force, I learned to think strategically and I learned to think tactically. As you hear my planning sessions, those are tactical plans for the week at hand. I've been an active trader since the 70s, long time, former member of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. I have 3 books out there, Winning the Day Trading Game, The Markets Never Sleep, and Trade to Win. I love working with students because that's what motivates me. And I think that because it's that motivation, it keeps me active and in tune. And I'm always learning. Never quit learning. Educate yourself. At DTI, we help you master the markets. I mean, master these markets through education, training, and experience. What that means is that we're going to give you a process for short-term trading, for swing trading, and for long-term trading. Our experience will help you not make the mistakes that we made, educate you to those that don't work, and cheer you on when those that do. Now, if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, it's free. And I find it very nice. I think YouTube was invited today, I believe. And there'll be a rapid recording on there of what I do. That's the beautiful thing about YouTube, okay? And you get notified, right, Henry? If, like, for example, you didn't get an email, you got notified on YouTube I was coming on live. Now, our customer service is live Monday through Friday, except on a holiday. Day's a holiday, but open tomorrow between 10 and 1. People rave about it. It's dtitrader.com/help. Now, here's my schedule for the week. It's a busy schedule, but it's set up that way to take advantage of an early start here in September. Tomorrow, we'll meet with our old school people at 10 a.m. At 10:45, we'll have Connect the Dots. 11, we'll talk and finish up our option 25-cent trader. And at 11:30, we will have an intermediate class online. So we got a busy morning tomorrow. And I did that because it's right when things are really, really popping tomorrow morning. So we'll be pretty much live once we get started if you qualify to be there. Wednesday, we'll have training on futures, and I'll discuss this trade that I did and another trade that involves gold options. I'm educating people on that. I figured out a really great trade there that I'll be helping people with that. Thursday, we'll go 10 for 10 live with our new 10 for 10 course. And Friday at 3, we have our wrap up, which, I don't know which is more popular, the planning session or the wrap up, but the wrap up is something new we created and people seem to love it at the end of the week to get together and talk about lessons learned and what to look forward to as you go into a new week. And I don't know if everybody noticed or not, Berkshire Hathaway on Friday added $3.50 in the last 10 minutes of trading. Did y'all notice that? How Berkshire added that extra price action on Friday at the close. I was happy about that. In my opinion, if you educate yourself, everybody here, okay, this is a hard game, first of all, a very hard game, but everybody here can learn to cut out something that works for you if you hang around DTI and what we teach. You never know what it's going to be. I've got one customer in Oklahoma that learned a lot, and he locked into what I would call the weekend side hustle trade and that tactic behind that. I've got another student locally that loves the small price option trade. So it never surprises me when people say, Tom, I really like this particular way to approach the market. And I got other people that do a lot of the trades, in my opinion. Now, the Seven Sisters coming into September look pretty strong with E-mini at 17%. I look for by October 31st for the NASDAQ to be a higher year to date than the E-mini. That means that some of these NASDAQ stocks are going to come back in favor, and I look for that to happen by the end of October. Dow's up about 9.5%. Europe is up 11.72. Look at gold. I'm big on gold. I don't know if you remember this year. On Valentine's Day, I told people on that day, anybody that would listen, this is the low gold is going. Get long. We're headed to 2,700. Right now, we're at 2,533. I think we might have an opportunity to get there. And all you have to do is be locked in and loaded. Okay? Pretty cool. Crude, positive for the year, 2.40. Bonds have fluctuated around the yearly open. They started off this week for a interesting start. It's going to be interesting to figure it out. Now, my 10 tickers. Here they are, folks. If Apple goes above 233.55, I would be a buyer. If Amazon goes above 180.55, I would be a buyer. American Express, 262.55. Berkshire Hathaway. I thought it was going to get above this Friday at the close. It just kept going up, but that's the new number, and we could early on Tuesday be long Berkshire again. Costco is a stock I got interested in. I think Costco takes out that 918.55 in September. We're going to have a lot of smiles on people's faces. Gold, 234.11. Crude, XLE, 92.55. NVIDIA is in a trading range right now, but once it takes out 131.55, saddle up. Write that number down. There's your number on NVIDIA. You've been wondering about NVIDIA. There's the number. XLK is a technology play, 224.55, and the QQQ has to exceed 479.55 to go long. These are plays that are looking higher. I think that if the market can get some momentum going next week, you could see some of these prices unfold. Remains to be seen. News for the week, we got manufacturing. People will be looking at manufacturing. A lot of discussion about manufacturing in this country. Wednesday, we got the jobs report. Thursday, non-farm employment change. Eyes will be on that. Friday, the unemployment report, big day. Write it down, 8:30 in the morning on Friday. A big day. Probabilities for the week. Positive on Tuesday, stronger on Wednesday. That's today. Thursday, strong. Friday. Should be a good first week of September. Should be a good week of first week of September. This market's going to try to take out the July high. My opinion. Now let's talk about a Wall Street legend. People that know me over the years know that I love this book. Has anybody here read the book? This one here, World's Greatest Stock Trader by Richard Smitton. I knew Richard Smitton. He's long gone now, but he wrote a great book. I read this book at least once a year, and I always pick up something that helps me with trading. This guy had it figured out. He was a tape reader, and it really will make you a better trader by reading it. I'd get it, and I would get a yellow magic marker and highlight information out of this book. It'll help you. Talk about Livermore, his thoughts on trading. Cut your losses quickly. What do I tell you about options? You got to evaluate options after 72 hours. That's what I tell you. Confirm your judgment before taking a full position. You see me do this all the time, where I will probe the market. Anybody ever watch me probe the market and then add to it? I always try to stay with what is leading if I'm a buyer. And that changes, folks, throughout the week and the month. That's where Costco got on the table. I try to keep the number of stocks limited. There's 4,000 stocks I could go into, but I focus on and get to know the personalities of the stocks that are active. Now, new highs should be bought. So let's take Berkshire Hathaway. It made a new high on Friday. So we should buy Berkshire Hathaway if it goes higher next week. That's a Livermore rule. I've used it very successfully over the years. I also will warn you against cheap stocks. When stocks are falling, there's a reason. Pivot points. I use pivot points in my trade all the time. Now, don't fight the tape. Right now, the tape is telling me I want to be long bonds, but the tape is telling me don't fight it. Give it time. And that's what you're seeing in my trading with bonds. Great rules that will help make you a better trader. Market timing. He said, never sustain a loss more than 10% of your invested capital. I use a lot less than that, but never sustain a loss of 10% of your invested capital. I usually go to the sideline if I have a couple warning signs, like 3 losers in a row. I'll go to the sideline. That's one of my rules. I use a little baseball insights when I trade. The big money is made by the sitting, not the thinking. So we're going to sit and wait for these stocks on our 10 tickers. If you look at the 10 tickers, who enjoys my 10 tickers every week and uses those numbers to trade with? That's this rule in itself, and it will make you money. It will make you money by following this rule. You've heard me say patience will pay. This rule, play the market only when all the factors are in your favor. Anybody ever see me post, have patience, it will pay? The speculator must know the overall trend of the market. That's why I follow the overall trend through the S&P futures. Every day I give you a pivot number. Today, my pivot number was 56.55. That was my pivot number. Know the overall trend of the market before making a trade, the line of least resistance. If you look at the way the market traded overnight, the line of least resistance is higher. And here's one that the only thing to do when a person is wrong is be right by ceasing to be wrong. You see me do this a lot. I did that a lot last week. I had some trades that were not good. I got out of it. I cleaned up the books. Market timing. They're like human beings. They all have different personalities at different times of the week or the month. Learn that. Now, stocks are never too high to begin buying. Look at Apple. Apple closed at 229. I said, I'm going to buy it if it goes above 233. Got to have a little patience there. It's not at 233, but I got a number that says it's time to start. Failure to take the opportunity to get out of large illiquid positions when the opportunity presents itself can cost you. I try to avoid illiquid options or positions. It'll cost you when you have to get out. Never argue what the market's telling you. Don't explain it away. Understand it, take advantage of it, but don't argue with what the tape is telling you. How do you know what the tape's telling you? Well, if you go long and losing money, the tape's telling you your time is off. And this is one that always got me: emotional control. Emotional control is one of the most essential factors in playing the market. You have to have a game plan. I used to tell people, have the game plan, know where you're going to get in, know where you're going to get out, and know when you're wrong, but way before you ever make the trade. Just don't make the trade without thinking those steps out, because you will panic at the wrong time. Wait for the market. Very important. It's okay to anticipate, but wait for the market to confirm. Now, I've heard people, well, I hope, if you hear the word come in a sentence, I hope this stock goes up, that's a wrong word to use. Listen for that word. Hoping a stock will do something is the truest form of gambling. Avoid that. This is about speculation. And beware, everybody's emotions are different. I've seen people with huge bank accounts would panic at the first sign of a downtick. I've seen people with small bank accounts be hard and fast. Beware of your own emotions. They can get in the way of you making money. Always have a plan. Always stick with the plan. Now, this is what gets me. I see questions sometimes and I think, why are you trading if you don't understand and know the rules? Learn and study the market. You're putting your hard-earned money in here. Your results are obviously going to be a lot better if you can recognize a lot of factors about the trade. In my opinion, the number one mistake traders make is often spending too much time in the market. That's why time of day, time of week, time of month is important. That's why I use the reference bar approach. The reference bar approach divides the 24-hour market into certain times that are important. Has everybody here studied our free white papers on the reference bar approach? Have y'all studied that? You need to know it by heart. You need to know it by heart. That will make sure that you're not glued to a machine. They think by staring at the machine will make it more money. That's not the way it works. My biggest day of the month, this month in August, occurred on the big sell-off on that Monday, 51.20. I was visiting a friend's funeral in Georgia during the time. I had my biggest day of the month. Spent very little time because I was on the right side of it and I got paid. That's the kind of trades that you want, trades that are going to pay you without you having to constantly stare at it. What's worse, they think sometimes it's better to buy long-term plays because you think, well, look at the situation. I'll just buy this and hold it. That's what Wall Street will tell you. They don't tell you 3 out of 10 years you're going to get destroyed. Learn to recognize when those 3 out of 10 years occur. The last one we had was 2022. What did I do in 2022? I told people, get the cash or go short. Look at what happened in 2022. A lot better to think from that side of the market when you have one of those 3 out of 10 years. We had one in 2022. They say it like this: longer term trades equal biggest gain and less risk. That's what Wall Street sells, not what I sell. But in reality, longer term trades have overnight risk, less upside, less flexibility. There's no compounding. There's more stress in those trades and more exposure to risk. I avoid risk. You know I do if you traded with me. Look at NVIDIA this week. Piled up speculative bets ahead of earnings. Half or more of them got crushed by betting wrong. They all bet on a single day. They didn't do it a smart way. Market fell off, came down from earnings. Most people have been taught longer-term trades are safer, but it's the furthest thing from the truth. Focused on using options to target bigger returns on quick 1% or greater moves. Because small moves in the stock can have huge returns with the right options. Now, here's a TLT trade we did. We bought the 98, sold the 101. We entered at 91 cents, sold it for $1.44, a 58% return on our money. Here's another one where we paid 10 cents and knocked it out of the park. XSP right in August, August 13th. I remember that trade. Right now, it's a little more than 60 days to the election. It's going to play a bigger role after Labor Day happens today. This is a period of huge up and down moves. Election years in gray tend to see massive volatility spikes. They would normalize after the election. We go back to normal, but it's a very predictive build as it happens. In fact, it's been that way for decades during election years. And this is an election year. It will spike, which means there will be sell-offs like last Thursday, where it was at a high, and then in the afternoon, it sold off 50 S&P points. And then the next morning, it's back. Next afternoon, it's up there making highs. Big market moves each and every day that we can go after. Spikes in volatility will play into these tickers, SPY, QQQ, and gold. Creates a world of opportunity for quick cash grab trades using options. How many of you trade with options? Let me ask that question. Type in yes if you trade with options. You got to love options, don't you? A lot of trades. Friday, we got a nice report. Everyone expected to be a good bounce back day. Been holding through the open, you would have been solely disappointed as it went down. D-time weighted, target a small change of direction later in the morning, got long, tiny move in the stock price, 12% return on the QQQ. That's what I'm talking about, folks. Patience will pay. I can teach you how to do this. No exposure to long-term risk. Quick returns by timing the market correctly. I do it almost on a daily basis. If you've been with me, look on our trades on gold. Gold's been very unpredictable for months. It's slowly started turning higher with lots of valleys along the way. Grown only 12% since April. 12% is still not bad. Along the way, you would have to deal with overnight risk, less upside, and more exposure to risk. Or you could have done it what DTI did. We stayed out until we knew there was an opportunity. Last Friday, Powell spoke. Gold was highly likely to move. Sure enough, over 1% on Powell comments. Now, which one would you prefer? Having all that pain and suffering, or learning how to time your trades to avoid what most people deal with? I know which one I do. There's a trade on gold right there. Entered at 10 cents, out at 13, 30% gain. Small price, 1% risk. 12% in 5 months, all the while we did it. You were stuck in one trade there, no flexibility, stressing out on when to get out, and there we went. That's the kind of trades I like. Back to cash. Game-changing information and education. Nobody has this. We have it. Now, of course, you can go scooping up any old option, hoping for the best. You have to know what, how, and when to trade. We're going to do that during the month of September. We call it This was suggested by students in my old school class and in my 25-cent class. They said, Tom, could we combine the education and add trading in each session? I thought about it. I said, I will do it. So no longer do you have to think about it. I'm going to be with you during the month of September. It's where education and trading meet, which is really sort of super if you think about it. I mean, you got to like the fact you get paid to learn. Using options to capture these 1% moves in different vehicles. See, there's 5 basic reports in our 25-cent program, but there's other trades that I taught people how to do in gold and crude, bonds at certain times. Now, I'm limiting this to 100 students. I'll find trade opportunities. I'll be on the watch each day from 10, 12, or 2, capturing the move in gold, oil, other markets that are highly volatile when they set up. I will be the guy at the front saying, this one's setting up, here's a trade. Then we'll educate about that trade. We'll take classes in the month of September. I'm going to capture 8 to 10 opportunities on this program using my old school and the 25-cent techniques. I'll do 8 to 10 minimum setups in the month of September. First class will be Tuesday at 11:30. Well, we're not waiting here, are we? Tomorrow morning, we're going to kick off in September. All right. How many people want to start their month taking their net lick in their account right now and have an opportunity as early as 11:30 to grow it? Take one of those spots. I cut the price in half to $4.95, limit it to 100. Folks, there it is. We get started. This is the Labor Day you've been wanting. This is what you asked for. Get signed up. Any questions you might have, it starts tomorrow. And I cut the price in half, so there you have it. Pretty cool that we're doing this, okay? Sign up now. We're going to have a minimum of 10 classes, John, but a minimum of 10 trades, and then I'm going to be looking every day, 10, 12, and 2. That's 3 times a day times what? 5 days, 15 opportunities each week. That's a total of about 60 opportunities. Hopefully, we can cover a lot of those when they set up. Now, they'll be in different markets. Gold, crude oil, especially any market that was set up that would give us what we're shooting for. Okay? This is a no-brainer if you've been with me. 10, 12, and 2s when I'm looking. These will be all options, Wendy, but you can buy the stocks if I give you a forecast. Like, let's give me an example on Costco. I told you Costco's got to take out 918, right? What if I come in tomorrow at 11:30 and say, hey, Costco's at trigger at 902.5. I could do an option play and then do a stock play at the same time, because I would probably be comfortable doing that if Costco gets above 902.55 tomorrow. You see how that might work? Wouldn't that be great if Costco got above 9? Let's just talk hypothetically. You know, everybody can dream, right? What if we picked Costco, we did an option at 902.5 and sold it at 920? Say we paid $1. How much would we make on that if we did that? Just do a mind game with yourself there. That's what I'm talking about in the intermediate online, okay? We're only taking 100. They're coming in, so they're going away. Once 100's over, what are we going to do? Shut it down. Yes, small accounts can participate. I'll show you if I do a trade. Let's go back to the Costco example. Let's say I get in Costco and it takes off $10 tomorrow at my trigger price. And you don't want to take a day trade. I will show you how to avoid that and protect your profits. I'm going to teach anybody that wants to learn how to avoid day trading where you got a small account. Sometimes you might want to take, you make 50% or more though, you know? All right, big picture. Get in this program. Be with me. 10, 12, and 2. Remember those 3 times. Read the reference bar numbers. Diana, I love that name. Diana, where are you from? She's in. Where are you from, Diana? Miami, Florida. Y'all did good yesterday, your team. Georgia did pretty good too. Don't want to say that. We did. Might have some Clemson supporters here. Hey, I thought it was interesting. USC beat LSU. That got my attention. All right, the market is surging. If you listen to me about that futures trade I was talking about, Barbara, get joined and I will take you to that level. No problem. Get joined. Take one of the spots. Did you hear me say about buying the S&P at 55? Y'all know where the S&P is during this presentation? Huh? Somebody type in there where it is where I can read it. I'm looking at it making highs. 64. So if you bought one S&P, you just paid for this course. One S&P. I don't know if you like being around success, but you just saw it during this webinar. What was the first thing I did when I started? I said, hey, I got a trade if you want to do it. I do it every September. 22 years. Here it is. Buy the S&P, shoot for 1% higher. Well, you 10 points. There you go. What's trading today? Futures are trading today. Did anybody take that trade? I'm just curious. Did anybody take that trade before we got started? Joe? John? Ooh, yeah. Making some happy smiles on Labor Day. Okay. All right, we'll start at 11:30 tomorrow. We'll go through that reference bar. I'll go through several tickers to set up the first trade of intermediate online. Can't do any more than that, count. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Any other questions anybody has? This is the 22nd webinar on Labor Day I've done. And I keep doing it. Why do you think I do it every year? Because they've been big successes to get you. Think about what I gave you for knowledge today, what I gave those people that knew how to use it. September is starting out great, great, great. Uh-oh, Adam, people are taking those spots up. I just called it up. Wow, you loved it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks, Ed. Thanks, Grace. Thanks, Dan. Grace again. 2 Graces. Don, Donna, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank all you people for joining on board. Any other questions? Yeah, Kelly's backed up. People are contacting Barbara at DTI Trader, so I'm sure she's having to get you signed up and protect you. Now, look, if you can't get anybody and you got questions, put your name, email, and phone number in here, and we'll have somebody contact you, okay? And make sure you're signed up. If you got questions, don't hesitate. Take a spot. That will preserve one of the 100. That will preserve it. Wendy, I posted it in the recording. You can watch it on YouTube. It's there. Now, I didn't tell you about this, but I also did a NASDAQ mini trade at the same setup. Looking good also. What does this tell you about watching the market like I told you? Yes, absolutely. You can join to learn. Absolutely. Atul, I will give you my assurance. Smartest thing you can do in that situation is join it. Yes. Rochelle says, give me a call. The September, Laura, the September. We're at 65 right now. Let me show you what it looks like. Let me just show you what it looks like. Does everybody see it? Let me do this and show it to you real quick, just where you can see it. Look at this. Does everybody see the mini right there? That's how valuable it was. I told you to get long right here at the start of that run, and it's now 65. If that doesn't get you fired up here on Labor Day, I don't know what else I can do. Nobody can do that. I picked a market that would do what? I got another one, but I'll teach you about that on Wednesday. Any other questions? Adam, I got to take my hat off. I know you played a big part in today's presentation. I tell you what I'm going to do, Adam. I'm going to take you to a movie at 4 o'clock called Reagan. We got a bunch of us going to.
Oh, you would like those Livermore rules?
Oh, you know that got me going, didn't it? Those Livermore. Did everybody notice how I took what Livermore said over 100 years ago and it incorporated it over the last 20 years and what I did here at DTI? Does everybody know that? Do you see how I made some modifications? In fact, Richard Smitten came to my class and he watched what I did and he said, man, he's never seen anybody that could do it. Was the movie good, Pete? You went last night? James said they loved it. Well, we got the whole theater. We got a private showing today at 4. Pretty happy about that. Oh, it's great. I can't wait. Dennis Quaid, I loved it in the movie The Right Stuff. He's one of my favorite actors. All right, any other questions about this program? Let's name the program. I need a name for this program. We call it Intermediate Online. What would you want to call this program? A better name than Intermediate Online. What do you want to call it? Livermore. Livermore. Learning and earning. I like that, learning and earning. You could call it Livermore 21st Century, couldn't we? Making money with Tom. I like that one too. Two Punch. These are good names you're coming up with. I was talking to Morgan, my son, about it. He said, I hope you're going to have a better name than Intermediate Online. I said, I hope Hope we will too, but we didn't end up with one, did we? Live. How about September Gold? Y'all like that one? September Gold. Now let me ask the question. If tomorrow's presentation at 11:30, we get into a trade and you pay for the thing tomorrow, who's going to write me a love letter? Tell me who's going to write me a love letter if I can do that tomorrow. Now, Autumn Gold, that's good. Autumn Gold, that's a good name. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Peter. Livermore Rules, that's good. Labor Day Loot, I like that one. Got to have a little fun with this, don't? The main thing is 10, 12, and 2 each day. I'll be looking for what I call the high odds setup trade. Adam, perfect slide deck. Everything was great. Oh, dancing with the numbers. That's another good one. I like it. Pete, you got some good ideas. I need to ask you next time before I come up with something like this. You know, the sad part, a lot of people, Edwin called it the Dr. Pepper trade. Roger calls it the Dr. Pepper trade. Be a pepper. Y'all remember that? That was good advertising when they said, be a pepper. These are good names. Oh, I like this one. September two-step. That's good, Steve. Judy says the 3-strike challenge. Okay, I like that one. How about making money when you're not expecting to? Look at that futures trade I gave people. 66. Goodness gracious, if you made that trade, you got to be smiling. That's what I'm talking about. Smiling. You know, years ago I had a trade that I would teach people. Very similar to this one. Okay. Now, let's talk about something else before I go. I said the market has a tendency to go up 8 out of 10 times, years, 1% higher before it goes 1% lower. So what other market could we participate in tomorrow that would fit the criteria? Very simple. The QQQ. So I could do a QQQ trade tomorrow and hit it again. You see where my thinking is? Market timing and stuff? Tell me, everybody grasp that concept. I'm in the futures today, but tomorrow I could get into QQQ, couldn't I? What if you walk in there tomorrow and NVIDIA has a big run and goes above 131, or Costco goes to 902.55, or Berkshire makes a new high? Well, guess what? Everybody else is going to be trying to figure out what to do because you took your precious time and showed up here for my 22nd annual webinar. Guess what? You're cooking with gas. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Hey, what I'm going to do, Alicia, take it this year and learn. And next year, I'll count it, okay? Since you're in that situation, I'll be glad to do that for you. Can't be more fair than that. Make sure you let me know you did. You took that deal. It's good today. In fact, Adam, remember this. Anybody that signs up this year, if I do the trade next year, instead of charging $1,000 for it, they'll get $500 in credit off next year, okay? If they sign up today, I'll carry that over to next year. In other words, they won't get the higher price I'll charge next year. Everybody understand that? I'm locking you in at this price for next year's. Now, anybody grilling out this afternoon? Tell me what you're grilling. All right, Lisa. There you go. You're covered. Laura, you funny. Daniel's having steaks. Ribs, all right. Adam loves ribs. I see him knock people over at a table trying to get to the ribs. Oh, steaks. All right. Laura, where you live? Galveston, Texas. Charles is going to have some hot links. A little spicy. Adam, I think we're getting close to our 100 or not. I'm going to wrap it up. Does anybody have any other questions they want to ask me? Laura, this is a special intermediate online 10, 12, and 2. We call it right now we're calling it the September 2-step. This is not a service. This is what I'm going to do in September to take advantage of a early rise in the market, limited to 100, and we're getting close. You can reserve your spot if you put your name and phone number in here and email if you had some questions. But I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to see it. Steve, we'll put it into the notes, okay? That's how you'll get it. Everybody have a great Labor Day. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll tell you what I thought of the movie. Listen to T-Buzz TV tomorrow. TNT, pay attention tonight. I'm going to do a trade tonight for you. And if you're in my TNT, be looking at about 8 o'clock. And as I always say, I'll see you on the flip side.